Live feed on Rashad Mitchell's channel. Let's get into Football Friday with Rashad Mitchell. Every time it's Friday night at 10 o'clock. Get into the football, college football, and the NFL. Break down what took place last week in the overview and moving forward. So let's get into it. Last week in the college football, what stood out was Georgia, man. Georgia won a big game against Tennessee, 31-17. They trailed 10-0. They was able to come back and win by score of 31-17. Big win for them to keep their hopes alive for the postseason. And they was able to get it done and win. So that was a big win for them. Start for like looking back at the week that was last week in week 12. That was a big game. Tennessee and Georgia. Georgia won 31-17. There was also a lot of upsets. Kansas State losing to Arizona State. Kansas State was ranked number 16 in the country. Then you had Washington State, number 18 team in the country, lose to New Mexico 38-35. And Kansas knocked off BYU, number 16 in the country, 17-13. In Florida, they upset LSU 27-16. So those were some of the upsets that took place last week in college football. So it gets no better than that when you see upsets late in the season. So we had that many upsets that went on last week in college football. Oregon always got upset. They're the number one team in the country. They barely beat Wisconsin 16-13. When you try to go undefeated, you're going to play some close games at times. And, obviously you saw that. If you really watch it, they had to hold on for dear life and win 16-13. So they can keep their undefeated season alive. As far as ranked teams against ranked teams, South Carolina, number 21 team in the country, beat number 23 Missouri 34-30. Colorado continues to play well. They won 49-24 over Utah. Texas beat Arkansas 20-10. And Ohio State beat Northwestern 31-7. So that's basically it. What went on in college football last week. We're almost close to the end of the season. When you talk about the season of college football, you got one more week to go. And that'll be it for the regular season and get into conference championship week and then the playoff. Whoever liked this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So if I got 5 people tuning in right now, I'm going over to college football Friday with Rashad Mitchell, talking about football. Let's get into the games that are going to be played tomorrow. The two biggest games tomorrow. Keep your eyes on is Indiana and Ohio State. Indiana is 10-0, undefeated. Hello, Damien 1108. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Real Country Boy 45. Thanks for coming in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Talking about football. But Indiana is undefeated, having the best season this year, and the best season in their whole program's history. 10-0, and right now they're gonna be tested going to the Horseshoe playing Ohio State. The thing about Indiana, they've lost 28 straight games against Ohio State. They have a 28-game losing streak going back to 1991. So can the Indiana Hoosiers snap the losing streak of 28 straight losses to Ohio State? This is the moment of truth right here. 10 o'clock. 10-0 Indiana against Ohio State, 9-1. 12 o'clock p.m. on Fox. So that's the biggest game by far. Then the other game that's really big, you gotta keep your eyes on, is when you take a look at Army versus Notre Dame. Number 19 Army is undefeated against number 6 Notre Dame. That's the game to keep your eyes on in that matchup. Also, other ranked team versus ranked team. Keep your eyes on BYU. On 14 team in the country against number 21 Arizona State. That's an interesting matchup. But the biggest game tomorrow is Indiana. Indiana versus Ohio State. 28-game losing streak. against Ohio State. They lost 28 straight. That's a long losing streak. That's the longest ever active winning streak over one team. 28 games that Indiana has lost to Ohio State. Ohio State has owned Indiana dating back to 1991. Ohio State has won 28 games in a row against Indiana. That's the longest active winning streak of one team over another in Division I football. So, see if they can step up in class and do the job. We'll see. Now you got Wake Forest and Miami. That's a big game for Miami to keep their playoff hopes alive. Right, 4 people like this live feed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And Miami's defense, man, has been a huge issue ever since they lost to Georgia Tech a couple of weeks ago. And how they're gonna respond now after the bye week was last week. How do they respond? How do they play this week? How do they perform this week for us playing on a defensive end? The defense is not good against the run or the pass. Giving up to way too many plays, giving up to way too many points. Can't always line the offense to do everything. Sometimes your defense gotta hold it down, obviously. You gotta be a complete team on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. So Miami's been very maligned for his making stops and playing good defense. When they play Wake Forest team that's 4-6, they're trying to remain bowl eligible. They gotta win next couple of games to be bowl eligible. So it's the final home game for Miami. Hurricanes trying to go undefeated. They haven't lost at home this year. So I think they definitely got to come out and play better collectively. Because Miami has not played a complete game in a long time. They've been coming back from deficits and all sort of stuff. Talking about American football. I'm talking about college football right now. College football. Miami has not played a complete game in a long, long time. They've been coming back from deficits and stuff like that. I think they'll play a complete game, make a statement. I'm quite sure they've heard a lot about the defense and how bad they've been playing bad on defense. I think defense will come up and play with a purpose and win this game and play better defense. That's the thing I'm keeping my eyes on, is how do Miami defense plays against Wake Forest? Who they play on defense? That's the thing to keep your eyes on in this matchup. As far as that is concerned. That's what you gotta keep your eyes on in this matchup. Is the Miami defense. How do they play on the defensive end? So that's basically it for that. As far as that's concerned with the college football. Sadly, the season is going to be ending next Saturday. And then right into December, you go into the conference championship week. And then you have the Heisman Trophy Heisman Trophy presentation, Heisman Trophy presentation. The Heisman Trophy presentation. Then you have the playoff going to start after that. So the season's winding down, and we're going to see who's going to win the national championship. Obviously, got this format, 12-team playoff format. Right, 5 people like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, wherever it is. So it's going to be very interesting. It's been an interesting season. Conference realignment with SEC, having new teams in the SEC like Oklahoma, Texas. Matter of fact, Alabama plays Oklahoma tomorrow night. That's an interesting game. See if Oklahoma can solve their season by beating Alabama at home. They've been struggling at Oklahoma. They're 5-5. They trying to be bowl eligible, so that's going to be a big game for them. See if they can upset Alabama. All right, goodbye, Damien. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's go back into go to the NFL. Let's get into the NFL from last week. Right, last week in the NFL, style in the NFL is 2 games: Pittsburgh versus Baltimore and Kansas City versus Buffalo. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore, that was a low-scoring game, typical of these two teams when they meet. And that game was in favor of Pittsburgh. They won 18-16, all about field goals with the Steelers. Um, that's what it's all about. Chris Boswell kicked 6 field goals, and that's how they won. And the thing that stands out even more is the defense. Again, the defense that was ranked, top-ranked offense, the Ravens. Going against this Pittsburgh's defense, Lamar Jackson seemed to struggle. He's now 1-4 against the Steelers. Not only that, he's played poorly as far as the ratio between touchdowns and interceptions. 5 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. 1-4 on the season. Simple. When you play poorly against the Steelers, you're not going to win. They didn't win last week because they put up 16 points. So the struggles continue against Pittsburgh defensively when it comes to the Ravens. That's where it's at. The Lions, they seem to be the best team in football, I believe, 52-6 over the Jaguars. They handled their business. Kansas City versus the Bills. You had the Bills win against the Chiefs, 30-21. Gave the Chiefs their first loss of the season. But the thing is, with the Bills, they got to do it in the postseason. They definitely played well against Kansas City in the regular season, but historically, recently, in recent years, but it's been the Chiefs that's been ending playoffs hopes, the playoff runs of Buffalo in the 3 of the past 4 seasons. Yes, Josh Allen is playing well, playing at MVP level, despite not having a Stephon Diggs on his side, not having a Gabe Davis on his side. It's still he's being effective. He's raising that level of play to all the players that surround him, all the receivers, running backs, everything's going well. So when you talk about Buffalo, they got to prove their mettle in the playoffs. Josh Allen's 4-4 against the Chiefs. It is what it is. So we're going to see what happens when they play in the playoffs. They play each other in the playoffs. We'll see. But the Chiefs came to this game with a 15-game winning streak, including the playoffs. They hadn't lost a game since December 17th against the Raiders. Going to what I see right here. Matter of fact, I think they played on Christmas. Let me that be correct. Let me see. I think they played on Christmas last year. Yeah, the Chiefs lost on Christmas. That was their last loss on Christmas. On Christmas, that's the last time the Chiefs lost, 20-14. Then they haven't lost. Then they didn't lose after that. They went on a 15-game winning streak until they lost last week to the Bills. So Buffalo still have a lot to prove. They gotta prove their mettle in the playoffs. They gotta make it happen in the playoffs. Yes, it's the 4th straight regular season win against the Chiefs, but when it mattered, the Chiefs have won 3 straight playoff matchups against Buffalo. Including one last year, in the divisional round in January, 27-24. So when we look at that scenario, this is where Buffalo got to step up in the playoffs. In the playoffs, this is where they got to step up. This is where they got to step up. This is what they got to do. They got to get it done in the playoffs when it matters. Else, it's going to be deja vu all again. They could beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season, but can you beat them in the playoffs? That's the problem. That's what it comes down to when you talk about Kansas City. They own Buffalo in the postseason. Can Buffalo turn that around in the postseason? We'll see. That was two of the big wins last week. Buffalo beating Kansas City and Steelers beating the Ravens last week. Other games that were notable that were surprising to me was the 49ers and Seattle. Seattle went to San Francisco and beat San Francisco 20-17. Handled their business. Late touchdown by Geno Smith. It's just an hangover for the 49ers. It's just not the same team. Yes, they didn't have George Kittle in the game. He was hurt. And during that game, Joey Bosa got an injury to his oblique and a hip injury. So that's the thing that stands out with that. But at the same time, you're a defense of the 49ers. You got to make that stop. You're up 17-13. You can't give up a late touchdown like that. And give credit to Seattle. They definitely went down the field, did what they had to do to get it done. Give credit to Geno Smith. He threw for 221 yards, 25 for 32, with an interception and a touchdown run. That was the go-ahead touchdown. So that was a huge drive by him to go down the field and execute on offense. So Nick Bosa. I think I said Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. So that was a huge 80-yard drive, man. 13-yard scramble, touchdown with 12 seconds left. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. You step up like that. Now they're 5-5. Now the 49ers are 5-5. They didn't know at 500. So we'll see what happens. Al Sims will bounce back to play the Green Bay this coming Sunday. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. That's basically what's on the docket this past week in Week 11. So let's move forward to Week 12. Not that many games that are interesting. I think the only 4 games that's interesting are the 49ers and the Packers. Packers are 7-3. 7-3. 49ers are 5-5. And then you have the Cardinals and the Seahawks. And the Cardinals are surprisingly in first place. They are 6-4 on the season, playing a 5-5 Seahawks team on the road. That's going to be an interesting game. Eagles and the Rams, very interesting game. And then that's on Sunday night. The Monday night, Ravens and the Chargers. That's like the Harbaugh Bowl, because this is between Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh, 2 brothers, going to be matching up. First time since 2012, so that's going to be a lot of tension. So that's definitely a good game right there. 7-4, Baltimore 7-3, Chargers. Chargers looking good, man. Jim Harbaugh knows how to turn teams around. Whether it be Stanford, whether it be Michigan, San Francisco, now the Chargers. See if they get into the postseason and do something special. Also last night the Browns upset the Steelers. That was an upset in snowy Cleveland as they won 24-19. Bad loss for the Steelers. No, they're 8-3. You want to have a cushion over the Ravens. They're 8-3, so they're a game up on Baltimore. So now Baltimore has to win on Monday night to beat the Chargers. That's a good game. Obviously, the Chargers and the Ravens. So they gotta go 8-4. Be tied with the Baltimore in the win column with 8 wins. But they're still a game behind the loss column with 4 losses, while Pittsburgh has 3 losses. So see what happens in that matchup. Between the Chargers and the Ravens. So that was a bad loss for the Steelers last night. Just can't lose a game like that to the Browns. Because you want to get a cushion. You want to be ahead. You want to be in a situation where you're ahead of the opponent that you're ahead of in the division. Take a 2-game lead, especially in the win column. Constantly. You know what I'm saying? Keep that comfort above and beyond the teams that are behind you. So that's the thing that stood out about that game yesterday. So all right, let's go into what to look for in these matchups. Again, most of these matchups are not that great, man. I mean, let me go over the games that are bad. The Buccaneers and the Giants are bad. I'll speak the Giants. Giants have been in the news all week. Tommy DeVito is going to be starting. No more Daniel Jones. He's been released. He requested release today. I think it was today. He wanted the release. And the Giants agreed to cut Daniel Jones. Upon the request that Daniel Jones had. You know, they granted his request. He wanted to be released. And he got released. So they parted ways, and he would no longer be with the Giants. Now, Daniel Jones had plenty of opportunities to show that he was a big-time quarterback in this league. You know, he's number 6 overall pick in the draft. Played 6 seasons, so it's not like he didn't have any opportunities. Yes, he was hurt at times during his career, during his tenure. Well, he's 22, 44, and 1. That's not good. You know, made to the playoffs one time, won 1 playoff game, and that was it. They gave him this big contract, $160 million, 4 years. That's what, $40 million to that extent. But that's not good enough. And then I see here, since his rookie season, Daniel Jones has the worst record as a starter among quarterbacks with at least 50 starts. So Jones had the my day has been good. What's up, Belami? Thanks for tuning in. Speaking of Jones, I was reading about Daniel Jones, but the 50 starts that he's had, he has the lowest touchdown per attempt rate, 3.1% of any quarterback, with at least 1,000 passes since 2019. That's when he got drafted his rookie year, just behind Jacoby Brissett, 3.2%, Mac Jones, 3.4%. So his winning percentage is 355. 24, 44, and 1. The proof is in the pudding. This guy's not the guy. Trevor Lawrence, he's definitely underachieved. He has a 373 winning percentage, 22 and 37 after 50 starts. And Matt Ryan, he had a 375 winning percentage, 22, 37, and 1. When you look at Jones, man, he's just not the same. He definitely was not that player that he was supposed to be. And he just didn't live up to what a top 10 quarterback is supposed to be. I'm saying he was 3-13 as a starter since he signed his new contract. Threw 8 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. That's not the fault of nobody but Daniel Jones. I'm saying it is what it is. He brought this on himself with his performance. You got to perform on the field. And the thing about it is that last year when he got that deal, 4-year, $160 million contract against the Cowboys, and that Sunday night, he got sacked 7 times, lost 40 nuts to Dallas, had 23 dropbacks. That's when things went downhill for the Cowboys, the Giants. Once they lost that game, he was they won 3 starts, and 16 starts, he won 3 of them, threw 10 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions, according to what I see right here. He never was that guy, man. Just bad football. Yes, he had an injury to his neck, towards ACL, and I get that. Give him credit for hanging in there, recovering, but at the same time, he's not the answer. He was never the solution. He was never the guy that can lead the Giants to, prominence and win Super Bowls the way Eli Manning did. So, moving forward now, they just got to get a quarterback. I don't think Tommy DeVito is the long-term solution. They got to get better across the board in certain spots. So that's what it comes down to. Speaking of the 49ers, the quarterback Brock Purdy is out. And Nick Bosa is out. So that's not good. Right shoulder soreness, right shoulder shoulders for Purdy's out because his right shoulder is very sore. Left hip oblique for Bosa. So they're not going to be playing. And that's the thing about the 49ers. Again, it's the Super Bowl hangover. Because when you lose in the Super Bowl, sometimes it has a hangover where you have not just a losing season or disappointing season, but you have injuries. You don't have the same kind of unit that was good as it was before. It's always something from that perspective. Also, the Eagles, they're not going to have Devontae Smith. He's ruled out with a hamstring injury. So injuries are mounting up for certain teams that are trying to be contenders. All right, so let's get into it. Let's look for these matchups. Like I said, the Giants and the Buccaneers, that's not a good game. Chiefs and the Panthers, not a good game. Cowboys and the Commanders, not a good game. Patriots and the Dolphins, not a good game. Titans and the Texans is not a good game. The Lions and the Colts, not a good game. Vikings and the Bears, not a good game. Broncos and the Raiders, not a good game. Only 4 good games to me. 49ers, Packers, Cardinals, Seahawks, or Eagles, Rams, Ravens, Chargers. Those are the best games. Interest that be, good appetizers to watch. But anyway, let's get into it, man, to look at these games. Let's take a look at it, man. We're going to start with the Vikings and the Bears. 8-2 Vikings, Bears 4-6. The thing about the Vikings is that the Vikings are very good on grass surfaces. They're 8-4 under Kevin O'Connell. They're 2-0 in Soldier Field since 2022. So see how they play, continue to play on rough surface. And for Chicago, they're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak. They have the toughest remaining strength of schedule in the NFL. Obviously, dealing with a lot with offensive coordinators being switched. Shane Waldron to now Thomas Brown. They put up 19 points in a loss to Green Bay. They're averaging 11.5 points per game during the season, during this losing streak, which is the fewest points per game in the NFL in that span since week 8. Coach Matt Eberflus is 2-11 against NFC North opponents. It's the worst in the league since he was hired in 2022. Staff knows that the Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold has had multiple turnovers in 4 games this season. Minnesota is undefeated in those contests. The Lions, again, they're definitely the best team in the league by far. The way they've been dominant. They play the Colts at the Colts this week. So for the Lions, they're not taking this game lightly against the Colts. They have an 8-game winning streak. They're 5-0 on the road. So see if they can make it 6-0 on the road. For the Colts, their strategy in beating the high-powered offense like the Lions to obviously win the time of possession, keep the offense on the sideline. But the problem with the Colts is that they rank 31st in time possession, averaging 26 minutes and 40 seconds per game. So that's not good for the defense. Indianapolis is second in the league in defensive snaps, averaging 66.9 per game. Staff knows that the Lions have 4 games this season with more touchdowns and incompletions. That's the most such games in a season by any team since 1933. This is a terrible game, Patriots and the Dolphins. Staff know about this game is that the Dolphins have a 14.6% chance to make the playoffs. Those chances increased to 18.9% with a win and a drop to 5.9% with the loss. For Buccaneers and the Giants, terrible game, obviously. It's a bad game right here. Stat knowing that the Buccaneers are one of the 3 teams in the Super Bowl era to average at least 27.9 points and be under 500. The other 2 teams were the 2016 Saints and 2016 Chargers. They didn't make the playoffs. Cowboys and Commanders used to be a great rivalry, but definitely lost its luster. Stat note about this game is that Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb has 106 targets this season, which is tied with Garrett Wilson for most in the NFL, but he has had only 1 game with 100 plus receiving yards after 8 such games in 2023. Chiefs and the Panthers. Thing about the Chiefs is that they've been excellent against the run. They only allowed 3.6 yards a carry, averaging 85.3. But they're going to be tested against Chuba Hubbard, who has had 100-yard games, 3 of them, and averaging 5.1 yards per carry. That's the average. See if the Chiefs can stop that. Stat knows that another win for the Panthers was tied their longest streak over past 5 seasons. They won 2 straight before their bye. Tennessee Titans and the Texans. Not a good game. The Titans have a 14% chance for number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. Their chance improved to 19% with the loss and fall to 5% with the win. That's stepping up. The Broncos and the Raiders, not a good game either. Broncos playing very well. Bo Nix playing very good. Had his best game as a rookie in his career overall. 307 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, completing 84.8% of his passes for his percentage against the Falcons. And the Falcons are 5 of 15 red zone trips in their 5 losses, but they are 16 of 21 in their 6 wins. They're 6-5, so Broncos trying to get into that playoff race. So we'll see what happens with that. The Raiders, on the other hand, are terrible with the running game. With Alexander Madison and Zamir White, they missed practice Wednesday. Alexander Madison has an ankle injury and Zamir White has a quad injury. So they got to get this running game together. Stat knows that the Raiders have lost 7 straight to rookie starting quarterbacks since 2020. Interesting. They have lost 7 straight to rookie starting quarterbacks since 2020. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. All right. 49ers and Packers. This is a pretty good game. Now, the 49ers are going to be without Nick Bosa and Brock Purdy. So they're going to be out. So it's going to be even a tougher game for the 49ers. So this is a must win for the 49ers despite not having Bosa and not having Purdy. For the Packers, Jordan Love played well against the Bears down the field, 6 for 6. Throws of 15 more yards of downfield, 4 of which went to Christian Watson. He's in the top 5 in the NFL in air yards per attempt. So, but the defense of the 49ers have been strong against deep throws. Stat knows that the Packers are 5-0 this season against teams records of 500 or better, 500 or worse, and they're 2-3 against teams with winning records. This is a good game. Cardinals versus the Seahawks. The surprising Cardinals were in top of the NFC West. They come off their bye. We got the 4 straight wins. Now they're on the road against Seattle. With the win over the Seahawks, the Cardinals will be in the undisputed driver's seat, the NFC West, with another matchup against Seattle coming in 2 weeks. The Seahawks offensive line was a glaring weakness over the first 9 games, but it was a strength last week against the 49ers. The first place Cardinals, who Seattle faced twice over the next 3 weeks, ranking the bottom 5 in both pass rush win rate and pressure rate. Seth knows that Kyler Murray, the quarterback of the Cardinals, has lost his past 5 games against Seattle. Another defeat will tie the second longest losing streak by any starting quarterback against the Seahawks in their franchise history. Then we got the nightcapper, the Eagles and the Rams. Rams are coming off their second game of the season without a turnover, having an NFL low 2 takeaways from week 1 to week 7. Eagles lead the NFL with 11 takeaways. Eagles lead the NFL also with 43 points off turnover since week 8. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is having a big year. He leads the NFL in scrimmage yards, 1,347. So keep your eyes on the matchup with A.J. Brown at wide receiver against the pass defense of the Rams, who have yielded 18 touchdown passes this season. Rams 88.3 receiving yards per game, ranks 4th behind Nico Collins 103.5, Jamar Chase 96.0, and Justin Jefferson 91.2. So that knows that the Eagles have had 150 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in 5 straight games. That's the longest such streak going back to 1988. Cincinnati Bengals also 5 straight. And you got a good game on Monday night. Baltimore Ravens 7-4 against the 7-3 Los Angeles Chargers. This is the Harbaugh Bowl. Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh coaching on opposite sides. Now Lamar Jackson has played well on Monday Night Football. He may be the best quarterback ever on Monday Night Football. In 8 games on Monday Night Football, he's thrown 20 touchdown passes and no interceptions for 86 QBR, which is the highest among quarterbacks with at least 5 starts. But the Chargers have been the stingiest defense in the NFL, allowing the NFL best 14.5 points per game, lowest scoring average after 11 weeks since the 2019 Patriots, 10.8. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert, the quarterback of the Chargers, playing his best football of his career. He's on a streak where he has not thrown an interception in 246 pass attempts. That's a streak that he has. That's the longest in team history. So he's taking care of the football. He had 6 touchdowns on passes of 20-plus yards downfield, tied for the most in the NFL. This matchup could be in his favor as the Ravens have NFL's worst pass defense, allowing 284.5 yards per game. And Staten knows that Justin Herbert and Jackson has an 8.3 touchdown to interception ratio, and Herbert has a 13.0 touchdown to interception ratio. This will be the 3rd instance in the past 20 seasons which the outright leaders in that mark have met in week 12 or later. All right, so that's it, man. Look at the NFL for Sunday. That's it for the show. We need to hit it for the live feed. Football Friday with Rashad on my YouTube channel. I think those have been tuning in. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So that's it for tonight. I'll do a live feed on Sunday night. I'll be talking about the NBA, the week that wasn't NBA. That's going to be on the docket on Sunday night. I'm not going to do no live feed tomorrow on my YouTube channel, but I'll be back on Sunday for a look at the NBA. That'd be week 5, I think. I believe the 5th week. of the NBA recap what took place last week in the NBA on Sunday night at 9 o'clock p.m. So thanks for those who tuned in, those who participated in the live chat. Appreciate you. We shout you out. Those on live chat. Thank you, Real Country Boy. 45. He said, "What's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player in that team?" Well, I'm a Giants fan. Unfortunately, I love the Giants. Obviously, they've been bad this year. I don't have no favorite player on the Giants, but I've been a long-time Giant fan for a long time, since the '80s. So, obviously, they're not doing good this year. So, to answer your question, Real Country Boy 45, my favorite team in the NFL is the Giants. And also in college football, I love Miami Hurricanes. So I'm a long-time Hurricane fan of football, Hurricane fan, Miami, and college football, and I'm a New York Giants fan. So I love the Giants. Okay, thank you, Beat Real Country Boy 45. You subscribe. You love your videos. Thank you for supporting Real Country Boy. Hope I answered your question about who my favorite team is. College football and pro, I love the Miami Hurricanes, and college football, I love the New York Giants and the NFL. So, right, that's it for this live feed. Appreciate those who tuned in. Again, shout out to Real Country Boy 45 for subscribing to the channel. Chandler Wilson said, "What do you think about Daniel getting released?" Well, that was upon his request. Daniel Jones wanted to be released because obviously he don't like being, like a third string quarterback or whatever it is, being benched to a certain position, under the totem pole as a quarterback. When you making all this money and you get benched, I feel that, he has a right to request for a release. He want to part ways with the Giants. He want to be in a situation where he's playing, third string quarterback or being, fourth string quarterback, whatever it is. He just wants to, part ways. So he has a right to request a grant request for getting cut and being released. That was upon Daniel Jones' request. He wanted to be released today. He got released today, and I think it's a good look for him. Hopefully he resurrect his career somewhere else and get better. He still has a chance to resurrect his career and do better. But it just wasn't in the cards as a Giant. Is what it is. Body work speaks for itself. He was 24, 44-1 during his career. He had the worst record as a starter among quarterbacks with at least 50 starts. One playoff win, that's all he can do. So that's my answer to that situation. Right, so I'm going to get off this live feed. Again, like I said, shout out to Chandler Wilson. I don't know if you subscribed to the channel. Hopefully you did. I appreciate it if you did. Balami. See who else. Damien 1108. Thanks for tuning in. So that's it, man. That's it for my time. Thanks for whoever's on the live chat who participated. Thank you for tuning in. Done with this live feed. Until then, talk to you on Sunday night, the week that was in the NBA. That'll be my next live feed on Sunday night. I won't do no live feeds tomorrow, but I'll be back on Sunday. Until then, check out the videos. Keep supporting this channel. Tell a friend, share it, whatever you know. And like I said, this channel's gonna keep on growing. I appreciate all the support. Until then, have a good night.